what are kind of some of those key tips that you want to look at when you are taking over or opening up a new center?
Yeah, and the cool thing is if you're just opening or taking over a new center, there's so many things that you can do to position yourself right, to do it right from the start. A lot of times I get involved in the transformation process. So we have a lot of people who are in the midst of their business. They've been in it for 10, 20, 30 years. And there's all kinds of things going on that we have to really troubleshoot and backtrack and figure out their plan of action. So I think the cool opportunity is if you're new or if you're taking over, there's a whole opportunity to come in and do things right from the start, which I think is like really exciting. So
I agree.
We might even be able to fill people in on some of the common mistakes people who are very seasoned in childcare programs and the running of it make.
Yeah, and I think especially just with how everything is going on, just everything that's going on today, you're having to pivot a lot more than, like I know a lot of centers I've heard, well, I've been doing it this way. There's a center that we work with, they're out west, and it's like, we've always been full and we've been doing it like this exact way. And there's always been a wait list, and there's not a wait list at this time. And it definitely is requiring to kind of change some things up. And especially if I know a lot of people are also acquiring centers. So there's a lot of people that are, if the time is right for them, Jenna, you've worked with a lot of people, Julie, that are kind of transitioning themselves out. They're like, hey, my time has kind of come and it doesn't support either my family or my energy or my vision anymore. A lot of people are taking over centers, and there's obviously some different strategies and tactics and things like that you want to look for. Just got off the phone with one literally 15 minutes ago that just acquired a center, and
oh, nice.
It's like trying to figure all that stuff out. And it's like, I don't even know where to start. Like, do I try and fix the brand and the reputation? Do I rename it? Do I keep all the staff? How do I see who's good? Like, there's all these things that you can embark on.
Yeah. So, we'd love to, on this show today, to help you take the guesswork out of whatever it is that you're going through. And whether you're new or you're established, I think you're going to get some tremendous value from what Michael and I will be sharing with you today. And, the process of transformation, it could be really, really tricky, because where I get involved, like Michael said, some people are transitioning out, but a lot of people have just lost their passion and they need to get it back. So to me, rejuvenating your passion, the steps that you would take would be the same as if you're new and you're opening those doors and you want to engage a community of followers. And I think right now, the biggest word to keep on the top of your mind is opportunity. There's staff members who are childcare staff who are looking for jobs. There's people who are misplaced, people who are wondering what their next opportunity is. And I think it's an incredible time to really wrap your arms around your ideal dreaming staff and your ideal clients.
Oh, that's a really good point that you just mentioned. And I think we should maybe unpack that one for a minute.
I love when you say unpack.
Yeah. So
I went on a vacation and now I'm going to unpack and have a good time.
Yeah, I think it's definitely some time for some vacation. I told my wife yesterday, I'm like, well, I'm going to go somewhere. She's like, where are we going to go? No one because we live in New York and I'm in Illinois. And she's like, well, now all the other states are getting COVID. New York is fine. And like, you could still take a road trip in New York or something. But perfect. Yeah, I see, Amanda, I see your question. And that's actually a great question. And I will make sure that we tackle that. That's a great question. So the one that I wanted to unpack, Julie, is when you just said that a lot of centers have to look at getting their passion back. And I think that that's definitely a point to really think about, because with everything that has happened, I think a lot of owners of these childcare centers, you're not just frustrated, but I'm hearing a lot of centers that are just like questioning themselves, like, am I really cut out for this? Mm-hmm. And I think that there's a huge difference between, are you cut out for this? And I mean, life/world circumstances that are like 1 in a trillion that are happening. Yeah. And then the whole other side of the passion. I think a lot of those things kind of get mixed in. And I'd love to kind of hear your take a little bit about that, Julie. But I definitely am worried that a lot of centers they're going to kind of fold their cards because they're like, I'm just tired, or I don't think I can do this anymore. But it was just a lot of stress kind of in disguise, or they lost their passion a little bit, or they didn't have that that core story and the vision for their business and their life to kind of fall back on.
Yeah. And one thing I would be curious about too is, like, where were you at in March? So in your headspace, where were you? Were you already feeling like you were losing your passion? Or when COVID hit and the pandemic, were you just pushed to the brink? And then, it's good to evaluate those things, because then you could say, like, okay, well, I was feeling really great right before the COVID hit. So then how do I get it back? But if you were pushed to the brink, then there might be some other steps that we really want to implement to help you get to that passionate place. But I think a lot of it comes into place with you really thinking about, how good am I taking care of myself? How much am I loving me? Because I know this industry, and I know the leaders in this industry, and I know that we are so good at taking care of everybody else around us. And we forget to take care of ourselves. But then when our cup is empty, it's like there's nothing left for anybody else. And we're stretching, just to keep giving to everybody else. But you've got to take some time to really give to yourself and to fill your cup back up. And that's really what we look at when we look at rejuvenating your passion, is how empty is your cup and how do we fill it up again? And it could be some simple action steps, but you got to get recommitted to loving you first and foremost. And that's really essential.
No, I think it's a great point, because I know that I've been there, where I'm just like, you start questioning things, and really it's your life balance and your energy is out of whack. And I think other things end up presenting themselves and kind of disguising what the real issues are. Like, you might say, I'm just so stressed out and it's got to be my business, but it might be something completely different. And it's definitely a big one, because I've, like you, I've analyzed a lot of the financial stuff of childcare centers, and a lot of these centers, you're just not paying yourselves what you're worth, and you're not carving it out in stone that this is what I want to be making. And as Julie said, you're great at making sure your staff is taken care of and the families, and that's great. But at the end of the day, again, if you're not taking care of you, if you're not coming to your center excited, it's only going to continue to get worse, not just on yourself, but your team is going to feel that. And then it's going to have that trickle effect. And if you're doing a tour that day, they're going to feel that. So you got to get yourself in check and in a good spot.
Yeah, it's absolutely an energy that you project. Oh, where did Michael? There you are.
Sorry. Had a little itch. I'm like, I'll turn my camera off for a second.
I was like, oh, where is he? I got scared. Didn't know how I would carry on without you, Michael. No, but you really, really, really got to check in and ask yourself, when was the last time you did something just for you, whether it's buying flowers, whether it's getting a massage, whether it's whatever. Because the imbalance that I see that happens a lot in childcare programs is when the leaders are so much taking care of everybody. Even their dog comes before they do, and their husband and their own kids, so it's like everybody's in this big line, and it's like you're at the end of it. But then what happens when we're in this imbalance is that we start looking to other people to validate us. And when we don't get the response we want from other people, like, why don't they appreciate what I just did for them? Why don't they, acknowledge like everything I just gave up for them, or all this hard work I did for all of them? Why don't they acknowledge this? We almost start to get resentful. So on top of us not taking care of ourselves, we can build up a lot of resentment for the things that we are doing for other people if we're left out of the equation. So it's really important to schedule yourself in as a priority, to do some self-care, to really think about the things that you're doing and the action that you're taking, because the best action comes from a place of not expecting anything in return except for a successful, happy business or a successful, happy team. That would be fantastic. But a lot of times, like I said, if we're looking to other people to fulfill us or to fill our cup up, it becomes a disappointment often.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I think that was a good way to kind of start the show, because I worry that, and obviously with COVID in some states coming back, that a lot of these center owners are just, it's tiring. I know that I'm tired at many times also, but when I realize that, then I make sure that I'm taking care of myself first, and I'll take the afternoon off. I'll go for a walk. I'll go grab something fun to eat. So make sure you're definitely taking care of yourself.